The Mike Tomlin era in Pittsburgh is over. What's next for everyone involved? We're going to explore that today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins, and we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much.
Happy hump day to you, Joe Marino. It's the cycle that just keeps on giving. More news, more developments. Every time I say we're done, something else happens. We did the show yesterday. I said, I have Mike Tomlin staying in Pittsburgh. The Packers are definitely going to keep Matt LaFleur.
Oh, boy.
Let's get it out of the way now. The Packers are definitely keeping Matt LaFleur.
Kyle,
it's universe's rules here.
Dude, you're the one that convinced me to believe that Mike Tomlin would be the one that steps away. You did it. Yeah. And then I believed your talking points more than I suppose you believe them.
Well, no, it's just when those chips are always down and it's time to actually make a decision. Like, you can connect all kinds of dots. Like, there's a bunch of fan bases that are used to connecting dots and things happening and this and that, right? But then they don't actually. It's like the Giants with. Remember how they were trading for Matthew Stafford for like 2 weeks last February, and you connected all these dots, and it's like, this makes a ton of sense, and then it doesn't happen when it's time to like actually do it.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I just thought it was going to be.
Well, he resigned, and that's sort of cool, right? Like, that he got to go out on his terms. I don't feel like a lot of coaches get that opportunity. I think he has a lot to be proud of during his time in Pittsburgh. I mean, was it 19 years of a winning record, Super Bowl, a lot of playoff appearances, a lot of success, a lot of, I think a lot of people would trade what they've done for the last 19 years for what Mike Tomlin did. And so yes. I hope that it can be looked back on fondly. I have a lot of friends that are Steelers fans, and they've been wanting this to happen. And here it is. And I hope that everyone can just acknowledge the good that came despite maybe the frustrations. Like, the misery of success applies here a little bit, I think.
The curse of expectations, right?
Yeah.
The curse of competency, really, where it's, I mean, Pittsburgh fans in particular are oddly calibrated for this because they've had 3 head coaches since the merger, right? Like, it's Chuck Noll for 23 years, and then Bill Cowher for 15, and then Mike Tomlin for 19. Right? Like that. What an incredible run. Like, you're used to a certain standard, and Chuck Noll had 4 Super Bowls, right? They have 6, don't they? As a franchise, Chuck Noll had 4, and then
1 each for Cowher and
1
Tomlin.
Each for Cowher, and Cowher was gone 4 years ago. If you were Mike Tomlin, right? That was 4 years ago, would have been the 9-7-1 season where they lost the second consecutive playoff game in like 2021. But he was a 49-year-old head coach at the time. You still felt, I mean, 2 years ago in the offseason, we're talking about Mike Tomlin for the all-time win record for a head coach. This was his age 53 season as a head coach. There's a lot of ball game left if he wants it.
Sure.
But with Pittsburgh having such a stable trajectory and for it going as long as it did, like, I understand the angst. I have a hard time feeling like we're going to find ourselves saying, be careful what you wish for, because Pittsburgh seemingly always got it right. Yeah. But that would be like, draw the college football parallel, Phil Fulmer, right? Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
And what's up until they found this most recent iteration of the team, when it was like Derek Dooley. Who else was in that coaching after Phil Fulmer got pushed out in Tennessee? And it's like,
Lane
hey,
Kiffin?
Lane Kiffin, maybe 10-2 and an appearance in the Alamo Bowl or the Orange Bowl every year ain't so bad when it's all said and done.
Butch Davis,
champions of life.
What's he doing these days, man? Don't do it. Don't fall into.
No, I'll do it on the break. But that would be like what I would say to Pittsburgh fans. And you probably don't have to worry about it because you've had 3 coaches since like 1968. So I get it.
I feel like so much of the conversation surrounding what's happened in Pittsburgh over the last 6 years of, you win your 9 or 10 games and you get bounced in the playoffs has really been more about the quarterback position and less about Mike Tomlin, in my opinion. And, maybe there's some
game management stuff, right?
There is. Like, so I don't like a lot of cowardly punts. Like I take exception with that, but I think bigger than that has been the quarterback piece. And for as true as it is that they've always kind of been finding a head coach, they've sort of been that way at quarterback, like going back throughout their history of Terry Bradshaw into Neil O'Donnell. They figure it out with Mike Tomczak and Cordell Stewart and Tommy Maddox, and they get Ben Roethlisberger. And then it's been this cycle of trying to find the next one, and it has been just flop after flop, right? With Trubisky or Kenny Pickett or Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, whatever. I mean, you just know that this is a path to 9 or 10 wins and a first-round exit. And so I think bigger than maybe some of the frustrations that you get from some cowardly coaching from Mike Tomlin has been, they just haven't had that dude at quarterback.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Like the whole team, like we made such a big deal about Pittsburgh being aggressive in trades and aggressive in free agency. Their MO as an organization, it kind of, to make another college football parallel, kind of feels like Clemson and the transfer portal stuff.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, if you're not willing to play in this end of the pool at all, it just puts that much more, like the way in which you go about collecting talent, which is through the draft. If it's exclusively at all times through the draft, you better do what the Packers do and always have a guy 4 years in the pipe before he's ready to go a quarterback when that moment strikes. Because the moment that the quarterback drops out and the rest of the roster is still sturdy, it's hard. Right. So to draw a couple college football parallels for kind of where Pittsburgh's found themselves, I still have some strong thoughts on Tomlin as a coach and probably a need to reinvent himself a little bit and maybe the time away. It sounds like he's really there. There was some reporting yesterday, like I think Tom Pelissero had it, maybe this spot could be good, or maybe he wants to coach in a warm weather's place and he'd been in Tampa before and sounds like he's going to take the year off.
Which we will talk about here next. We'll consider what's next for Tomlin, dive more into this Pittsburgh Steelers situation, and see how Kyle Crabbs can incorporate the Florida Gators into the rest of this show at some point. So, folks, be sure to stick with us. Let's be real. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll spreadsheets. That's where Gusto comes in to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is the all-in-one, remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast. Whether you're hiring, onboarding, or paying employees, Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or hidden fees. You're going to get unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means no surprise charges at the end of the month. And Gusto's automated tools like offer letters, onboarding materials, and direct deposits will save you hours every week. And knowing you can reach certified HR experts anytime gives you real peace of mind. So try Gusto today at gusto.com/lockedonnfl and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's right, 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/lockedonnfl. One more time, that's gusto.com/lockedonnfl.
Hey, it's Matt Derry from the Locked On Lions podcast. The people I love depend on me. If I'm gone, the financial responsibilities don't disappear. I didn't want my family figuring things out during the hardest moment of their lives. That's why I knew only one place to go. I chose life insurance through my friends at Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. I love the folks at Ethos. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get the free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. That is ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Application times and rates may vary.
All right, Kyle, what's Butch Davis doing? Did you pull that one up?
No.
Oh, geez. Well,
I can do it now.
Gosh, the whole point was you're supposed to do it during the break.
Most recently head coach at FIU.
Very good. Is that what he's doing right now still?
No. Well, he was most recently head coach in 2021 at FIU.
Oh, okay. All right. He's just winning the game of life now, not football and life. Okay, so what's next for Pittsburgh? They got to get a head coach, which feels extremely weird. You've seen the names being tossed around. Of course, we don't know of any interview requests. This is all very, very fresh, but
right.
Are there a couple of candidates that really stand out to you as likely Steelers future head coaches?
I think they should hire Brian Flores.
Okay.
Had the year in 2022 under Tomlin. Had good things to say. Tomlin had good things to say. I think Brian learned some lessons through the tenure that he had in Miami, as far as player relations, as far as the staffing stuff. Pittsburgh's probably the one place that I could look at and feel like, because there was an overlap with Tomlin and a connection, and he's been in the building, the stigma that comes around like how things ended in Miami probably is less in play. And I think if you can you're going to have a transitional period there. I think that would be appropriate if you hired Brian Flores. But if you can get the offensive stuff right, and the proximity that he's had to Kevin O'Connell should help him in that regard as far as his lexicon of offensive assistants to come in, I think Brian Flores would be a great choice, because I do think Brian Flores, nobody's ever watched Brian Flores and say the scheme is the problem, right? It was the lessons. Did you happen to catch the Ravens owner press conference yesterday, Steve Bisciotti?
I saw a few of the clips that were posted on Twitter.
So he talked about retreads. He explicitly said, I'm interested in the guys who were the hot offensive and defensive coordinators 5, 6, 7 years ago that maybe didn't go to great situations and grounded out, but the team didn't have stability and it didn't work out for them. And, there's some learned lessons through being a head coach before, and they clearly don't forget how to coach.
Yeah.
But we feel like our job opening is a lot more stable and attractive than whatever they walked into when they went into, whether it was Miami in the teardown year or Robert Saleh with the Jets, right? Those are great football coaches. Like, from a football coach perspective. And I thought that was really enlightening and interesting. And I think Pittsburgh probably has the ability to apply the same lens to as they look at coaches.
Well, last time they hired a Vikings defensive coordinator, they got Mike Tomlin. So that would be an interesting, here we go again. I can be convinced of this. I think if you really do want to maximize some of your commitments on defense, like a TJ Watt, like a Jalen Ramsey.
I don't think any of those things should be applicable, though.
Well, but that's where I'm heading with this, is kind of like, is if you do feel like you're kind of committed to this direction. I do like that. I feel like there's a structure of defensive players that would work well with Brian Flores. I think there's some uniqueness to the way that he plays defense that would, require a bit of a personnel overhaul if you didn't kind of have what Pittsburgh had in place. But how much should Pittsburgh be thinking about really just going in a new direction? Like, do we really want the guy that was with Tomlin? Do we want a defensive-minded coach that has maybe somewhat of a similar background, or is this your opportunity to maybe try a different approach and get away from like, hey, we're going to be the rugged identity of defense and running the ball, or like, is this your chance to maybe lean a little bit more into an offensive approach and get that side? Because defense hasn't been the problem in Pittsburgh. Is this going to help them solve their offensive issues? Because when I look at this situation, I need a quarterback and receivers and a coordinator on that side of the ball. Like, I don't think Brian Flores gets us closer to solving those problems.
No. Well, I don't know. Do you believe Arthur Smith versus the proximity to whoever may be able to come from under Kevin O'Connell, or the connections that Kevin O'Connell has with other offensive coaches across the league? Like, that was always the thing with Brian, and that's this thing with Mike, right? Is it was who were Mike Tomlin's connections at OC? It was Bruce Arians and Todd Haley, and it's been musical chairs since.
Yeah.
So I think you can achieve that without just saying we want to go with an offensive coach, in my opinion. Like
I agree with you. I've been the guy that's been like, hey, we don't need to thumb our nose at defensive coaches. Like, I think I'm going to come out on the right side of that argument. It's taken years, but I feel good about it.
Check out what Houston's doing with DeMeco Ryans, right?
Sure. I mean, half the coaches that are left in the playoffs are defensive minded, and a lot of the candidates that people are talking about getting employed are defensive minded. So, I think there's some tweets that need to be deleted from people maybe that were so against that idea. It's attractive. What else? I mean, Brian Flores is certainly a name to consider.
I know they like Marcus. I know they like Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. It doesn't sound like that's going to happen, but I know that was a name that they were very interested in when this became apparent that this was maybe going to be on the radar, which gives you maybe that can help you give some insight into what are the kinds of coaches. Like, it's a very CEO type of coach, right?
Isn't Mike McCarthy like a Pittsburgh guy? I'm sure Mike McCarthy would love
Philly. Is he Eastern PA?
Homestead, Pennsylvania. You know about this, right?
I could not see off the. He's born in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Played at Bishop Boyle.
Yeah, I think he's. I'm sure he would love Pittsburgh. Does Pittsburgh love him? I remember when Jarrett hired. He talked about Mike McCarthy as a coach that has been familiar with being a head coach on a what do they call it, a legacy team or whatever. He's like, yeah, this guy, it was Packers and Cowboys, so like Steelers, like, he certainly knows what it's like to be the head coach of those types of teams. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Obviously, the entire AFC North minus Zach Taylor is
right. A couple of the names. Replaced. Can I give you a couple of the names?
Sure.
Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator, Chris Shula, Rams defensive coordinator. Those are the names that I think are probably going to end up being at the top of the list.
All right, we'll see where it goes. Coming up next, what's next for Mike Tomlin? Is he going to not coach next year? The Steelers retain his rights. Is there a trade? We'll see. We'll talk about it next, folks. Be sure to stick with us. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there's got to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades that you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. And I love how simple Quo makes everything. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number, so nothing gets missed, and everyone's going to see the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal, and it works right from your home or computer, and you can even keep your existing number. It's no surprise that Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. So make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNFL. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNFL. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. As the new year gets going, a lot of people are trying to simplify their routines, and dinner is a big one. Between busy workdays, cold winter nights, and a packed schedule, having an easy, reliable dinner plan makes a huge difference. That's where Home Chef comes in. Home Chef takes the stress out of cooking by delivering fresh, pre-portioned ingredients right to your door with easy-to-follow recipes that actually taste great. They're rated #1 by users of other meal kits for quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease, and it's easy to see why. The meals come ready to fit into your schedule, 30-minute recipes, oven-ready trays, or quick lunches. There's over 30 weekly options, including family-sized meals and different dietary choices. The recipes are simple, but they feel elevated. You'll even get restaurant-quality dishes co-created by chefs like Gordon Ramsay, and everything arrives pre-portioned, so there's less prep, less mess, and no wasted food. In fact, it's going to save you time and money. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 50% off your first box, free shipping, and free dessert for life. Just go to homechef.com/lockedon. That's homechef.com/lockedon for 50% off your first box, free shipping, and free dessert for life. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert.
Mike Tomlin. TV.
Yo, can we let's just entertain that for a second?
Yeah.
Big dollars out there to talk about football on TV.
There are.
To work about, I don't know, 5% of the hours, 10% of the hours.
Even if you're working your rear end off.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
that's what the Sean McVay thing, when that was a topic a few years ago. It's like, man, this guy just got married, a kid. I think he's got 2 kids now. Was the offer like 15 or 20 million to go do TV?
That sounds about right. Yeah, it was a very
lofty
number.
Very
lofty number.
The contrasting lifestyles are just really, really different. I mean, let's be honest. Like, being an NFL head coach is damn near a 24-hour-a-day job, man. And the pressure is unbelievable. You just want me to show up and give my thoughts and get paid like more? I'd understand it, Kyle. I would.
I think there's a part of me that selfishly wants to see Tomlin keep going, though. Because out of all the coaches that are out there, who do you feel like has the best chance to push for the all-time wins record, if not Mike Tomlin, with the track record of consistently having a threshold that's not, oh, we're bottoming out, we won 3 games this year.
Yeah.
He's already pushing 200 wins. He's 54, 53. He's 53.
He can Frank Gore this thing, you know?
Mark. Right. You could Emmitt Smith it.
You said
just constantly be 10 wins.
Yeah.
He has 193 wins plus an additional 8 wins in the postseason. The all-time wins record, Don Shula, has 328 plus the playoff games. I think he's at 347. So we're like 150 wins away. He's 54 years old this year. Don't take the year off, Mike. Go coach somewhere. Let's get on the horse. You could be done before 70. You could have it. Keep going. Don't stop. I'm selfish.
Well, I think that's one angle to bring up. The angle I'll add to, and you've seen this as well, is I think Mike Tomlin loves it, man. I think he loves coaching ball. We've seen him in the All-Star circuit. That guy is front and center. He is dialed in. He wants to be near the players. Mm-hmm. I think at his core, he's a football coach and wants to be around players, and he wants to, make dudes better football players and better people. And I think there's an unbelievable resume that he can point to of maybe getting the best character out of people that maybe without him haven't shown great character. And so I think he has a lot to give to the game. And, for as attractive as the whole TV thing is that we just talked about, ultimately, I think you kind of have to gotta be true to yourself and who you are at your core. And I think Mike Tomlin's a football coach.
Maybe we would benefit from a reset year. And we alluded to this earlier. I think there are some things that Mike Tomlin would probably benefit recalibrating about his approach. And maybe you take that time away and you do the Mike McCarthy thing, and you lock yourself in your office and you watch all the games on with the PFF stuff, right? Like, wasn't that the deal? Like, you remember he had like the sabbatical year, and
I'm a new man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, maybe you do that. I don't know. But that's the part of, I can see the benefit of, if you need to unplug for a year to reassess, look at the NFL landscape, pick your spot, be prepared for that opportunity. Great. Let's not forget, he's under contract. He had, is it 2 more years on his contract?
Yeah, 2 more years. So
this
is a complicating thing here. Yeah.
This is the coach you would have to acquire if you were to acquire Mike Tomlin. So that's another interesting layer to this as we get ready for a draft cycle where you may see some teams moving and shaking assets, and maybe you pull more assets in 27 because you think it's a better class. But if you have surplus, maybe you're a player for Mike Tomlin when he comes back next year. Like there's a lot of layers to it that make it really interesting.
Let's close with this. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Because you're better at this than me. Word association. I'm going to give you each of the vacancies that currently exist in the NFL and your word association regarding the idea of Mike Tomlin as the next head coach of that football team.
Okay.
Are you in?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Tennessee Titans.
Needed. The Titans would desperately need, after the musical chairs that they have played in their organization for the last 6 years or so, the stability that Mike Tomlin brings would be sorely needed for them.
New York Giants. Same thing.
Bad fit. I don't like Tomlin going. Tomlin's in Pittsburgh, right? There's some charm in Pittsburgh. I know they're both legacy organizations, but Tomlin in the New York media, no, thank you.
Well, I want to see Sean Payton in the New York media. Let me tell you that.
To tell you you're not a linebacker.
What a jerk. What a jerk.
Like, I get it, right? Like Drake Greenlaw is like a rangy, speedy. He can shoot gaps, but I guess I get what he was.
Miami Dolphins.
A mulligan. Dolphins passed him over for Cam Cameron in 2007.
Oh, really?
You know,
all right.
Oh, somebody involved in the hiring said he was too hip hop.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, how's Cam Cameron doing? What year
Google
do you think was the last year that Cam Cameron was coaching on a staff?
Google it. I don't know. You got it?
2016 was the last time Cam Cameron was on a staff. He was the offensive coordinator for the Ravens from 2008 to 2012 and never to be heard from again at the NFL level.
Oh, right. Las Vegas Raiders.
Got your quarterback.
Be nice, right?
Yeah, Vic Mendoza.
Cleveland Browns.
Don't spoil your legacy.
I like it.
Can't go from Pittsburgh to Cleveland. Can't.
I like it. Baltimore Ravens.
Don't spoil your legacy. You can't go. Although that was one of the things that the Ravens owner said. It said, "Yeah, I'll bring Mike if John takes the Steelers job."
Last one is Atlanta.
Don't sign yourself up for quarterback purgatory again.
Well, I look forward to getting together with you tomorrow to discuss Matt LaFleur. No longer
Matt LaFleur on the move. An inevitability, because we said at the very top of the show, they're not moving on from LaFleur.
Right.
That's going to do it for us here. Locked on NFL Scouting, Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino. We appreciate you guys as always for checking the show. Make it a great rest of your day. We are in the books. We hope to see you again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.